But, you see, I think religious harmony, remarkably, are still very much sort of living. This is very, very important. So please, these young generation, you see, you must recognize this 1,000-year-old Indus tradition is something not only ancient tradition, but also relevant to today's world. This is one thing. Then perhaps some people say, oh, different religious tradition, or a lot of differences. Yes, but we have to make distinction. We have to think. Aspect of practice, essence, so the essence of the tradition. And then philosophical side. Actually, the philosophical view is supporting that sort of essential sort of practice. Two aspects. So as far as the real practice or essence of the religion, now here, practice of love, compassion, with that tolerance. And some problems already happen, the forgiveness. One individual, self-discipline, contentment. All religion, all major religious tradition carry the same message. So in that respect, no differences. I notice, I have been, visit or pilgrimage, some Christian monasteries, nunnery, and also some groups, a sort of community. You see, they are way of life, particularly in the monastery or nunnery. Very simplicity. And as I mentioned earlier, many of them totally dedicate their life serving others. So sometimes among the Buddhist monks, nuns, I think less number to dedicate serving people, serving other. So in any way, so that part, essential practice is concerned, same. Now as a supporter, support, you see, about that practice. I mean, you see, in order to develop more enthusiasm to practice that, that's the philosophical aspect. Christian, Islam, Judaism, and many other, you see, the concept of creator. Then Jainism, Buddhism, and one aspect of Sangha philosophy, no concept of creator, but law of causality. That means cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect. So both supporting, you see, these practice. To some people, the concept of creator is so powerful. And not only is creator create this world, not just because of the in general term. We individual actually, you see, created this very life of our individual created by God. So that really, you see, creates some kind of, deep feeling towards God. Then the message of God is love. I think definition, right? Real meaning of God itself, also infinite love. So a person who truly believes creator and this life, my life, created by God. God give me this life. So then naturally develop enthusiasm to serving all God's creature. One time my Muslim friend, he mentioned, as a genuine practitioner of Islam, must extend love and compassion towards entire creature of Allah. Then Jains and the Buddhists, no concept of creator, but rather self-creation. That also is a law of causality, causal effect. So that means if you do good thing to other, you get benefit. If you harm other, you get negative consequences. The same purpose, you see, that kind of a concept brings sort of self-discipline, respect other, and taking care about others' well-being. So looks big differences, fundamental differences in the philosophical field, but same purpose. And then reality, last, I think at least 2,000 years, around 2,000 years, 2,000 to 3,000 years, these different religious traditions gives way to provide humanity immense benefit. Millions of people get immense inspiration from these traditions. And today, also you see millions of people. And also in the future. I think after 10,000, 20,000, then I don't know. But at least in the next few centuries, definitely these major religious traditions will help humanity. So long we human beings, with this kind of condition remain, that definitely these religious tradition. Then after, I think, several thousand years, our brain somewhere, some change. And that may be different, maybe different case. Yeah? So in any way, so number one is religious harmony. That I want to share with you. Please realize that one of the India's 1,000-year-old tradition, religious harmony. It is very, very important. Then, basically, even you see, Buddhist time or ancient time, there were non-believers that we, Sanskrit word they call charvaka, nihilism. No God, no spirituality, no next life, nothing but deity's life. So one time, one my Indian friend, actually, the former Deputy Prime Minister of India, Government of India, Advani, one time, just a casual talk, you see, he mentioned in this country, from ancient time, you see, there's a tradition. The Charvaka consider nihilism. So the rest of the sort of spiritual traditions or school of thought criticize, argue, and sometimes condemn. But the person who holds that view refer Rishi. Rishi means sage, right? Sage. So there is indication, respect. So in this country, I think because of the significant thing is, 1,000 years here in this country, respect non-believers also there. And I think recently I saw one report. Out of 7 billion human beings, around 1 billion human beings actually non-believer. So about 6 billion supposed believer. But frankly speaking, in my eye, if these 6 billion, out of 6 billion human truly a believer, then I think one example in this country, India. When I give talk, I always frank, sometimes quite blunt, polite. Is not much help, right? The situation is quite serious. So we must be frank. We must tell truth. Say nice words won't help, won't solve this problem. So now in this country, I always refer you Indians, historically, you are our guru. We Tibetan, learned a lot from Indian scholars. So you Indian is our guru. We are Chela. So now sometimes in Chela's eye, sometimes quite sort of unbelievable things there. That is, every Indians, comparatively, I think, very much religious-minded people. I think each family, a statue of Ganesh, a statue of Shivaji, like that, or Saraswati, and then cross like that. But it is not very sure. Those people whose house, you see, these statues of God or goddess, these things there, their life really carry truthful, honest. That's a big question. A lot of corruptions now, and bully, exploitations. If these people really genuine, faithful to God or to Buddha, to Mahavira, then should not indulge in such things. So sometimes I jokingly teasing my Indian friend, it seems each morning you pray in front of your God and offering some flower, and particularly those ladies, this is some flowers, some incense, isn't it? And reciting some shlokas, Sanskrit, but without knowing the meaning. It seems, you see, they're really praying to God. Oh, now rest of the day, my all sort of the negative activities like corruptions, this should be successful. How can ask God, bless all my wrongdoings? How can? It is quite understandable. If you pray to God, please give punishment to those people who are not carrying real sort of God's advice or message. Some time back, I met some Cuban. He lived now in America. So he very much sort of against Castro, Fidel Castro. He refugee, I said. So he told me, in daily his prayer, he prayed to God, please, Castro, please bring to heaven, sooner the better. You see, some way, a little bit sort of also the takasure, some way is negative. but somewhere very positive. Not sent to hell, but bring to heaven. Wonderful. So in any way, it is really big questions. Those people, around now according to that report, less than 6 billion human beings, because of the categorized as a believer, see, real life, not much serious. So now another questions. Among humanity, there are quite a big portion of non-believer. Then among the believers, supposed believer, but real life, not much concern about honest, truthful these things. So now what is lacking? Firm conviction about the value of truth, value of moral principle. That's the factor. So now how can promote genuine sort of conviction? One of the most important factor for successful life, happy life, honest, truthful, compassion, sense of concern of others' well-being. Now that, the proper way to promote that, since these non-believer and even those religious-minded, not much serious, so therefore religious teaching alone not sufficient. So now education is actually universal. So in education field, more sort of, also the emphasis, educating warm-heartedness. Of course, according religious believer, religious faith, yes, the best way to serve or best way to offer God is you yourself be honest, truthful person, compassionate person. Then ordinary people, not much sort of interest about religion, we must say, or we must sort of, because of we must teach, warm-heartedness actually create inner peace. Because once once you have genuine sense of concern of others' well-being, then no possibility to develop hatred, anger, jealousy, wish to harm, desire some harm other, because you really taking care about their well-being. So that automatically, you see, develop inner strength, self-confidence. So that brings, when you talk, honest, truthful, transparent. That strengthening inner self-confidence. So that creates inner strength. That reduces fear. Reduce stress or frustration. You have more compassionate mind. Your mental state becomes much more healthier. As a result, now latest scientific sort of findings, they say constant fear, constant anger, hatred is actually eating our immune system. Recently, I saw one article wrote by one American scientist. According to his sort of research, those people who often telling lie inside much more stress. It's quite understandable. One is to tell lies, although immediately you may be very successful, but deep inside, oh, now I told lie. So after a few weeks or a few months, oh, if she knows about that how I can, you see, face is that person, isn't it? That always happens. My own experience, 1952 till actually till 58, with Chinese officials, Chinese communist officials. So naturally, you see some fear. Sometimes I sort of say, inspire some sort of resentment here or some suspicion there, but outwardly I have to say, oh, wonderful, fantastic, like that. So little hypocrisy, little lies. So more stress. Only the 59, I think actually March 59, I escaped from Lhasa. Then April, reached India. So these days, when I meet some Chinese from mainland China, now see many Chinese, particularly intellectuals, really, showing their genuine human nature. Unlike political sort of minded way. And then also, as a matter of fact, in now China, the Buddhist population, according some reliable sources, they say around 400 million Buddhist population. So in any way, I quite often telling these Chinese, about 9 years, I also have to practice hypocrisy, hypocritic way. Then only when I reach India, I liberated from practice of hypocrisy. So that's my own sort of the experience. You see, tell very truthful, not very truthful, very honest. You feel some uneasiness there. So it is quite true, I think, that article. So therefore, for your own sort of health reason, you see, be honest, truthful. Then also, you see, mentioned, they say, the constant fear or constant anger, hatred, actually eating our immune system. So, the healthy mind, healthy body, very close link. Lot of disturbed mind, very bad for healthy body. Calm mind, very good. I think in that respect, I think some extent I can tell you from my own experience. I just teased that because of that the two girls, they're drawing my face. Really sort of the real my face and that drawing face is quite similar. Okay. I think many of my old friends who knows me 30, 40, 50 years, when we met, you see, many of them, you see, expressed to me, oh, your face, not much change. Maybe some of their expression is hypocrisy, maybe politeness. But I think basically it's quite, I think quite true. Now, over 70 years old, and also my life, not easy life. At age 16, I lost my freedom. Age 24, I lost my own country. Now over nearly 54 years, remain outside. And the worst thing during these periods, situation inside Tibet is really very difficult. Now situation become even worse. And Tibetan, they really trust me. So I have some heavy moral responsibility like that. But my health, it seems quite okay. So it seems, you see, quite peaceful mind. I noticed some refugees, you see, because of the under same sort of situation. When we exchange our experience, these things, we comparatively much more calm. In fact, one entourage, before 1959, one monk. After 59, after I left, the number of monks or the officials arrested, and then put in prison, gulag. So many of them spent 18, 20 years like that. So one monk I know, they say, he also used to spend about 18 years in Chinese gulag. In early 80, as Deng Xiaoping's, I think, sort of more open-minded, more realistic sort of thinking, he give the he opened because of the border where Tibetan allowed come outside in order to meet their relatives, and also allow Tibetan from outside go to inside. So then this monk also is found opportunity come to India. Then since we know very well, so one sort of casual talk one day. Then he mentioned, during 18 years in Chinese gulag, there's a few cases he really faced some danger. I thought danger on his life. Then I asked, what danger? And his answer is, danger of losing compassion towards Chinese. It's that kind of mental attitude. Deliberately try to compassionate attitude towards those troublemakers. If that some sort of the shaking, he feels it's dangerous, danger. So result, now his age, 90, I think 94 or 95. Still, his face always smile. In fact, you see, now last I think 30 years, I sort of have talk with modern scientists in different fields, mainly cosmology, neurobiology, and physics like quantum physics, and then psychology. So one occasion, I just mentioned about this story. And then some of the scientists, you see, showing interest, so they want to interview, you see, that monk and also some other who spend, who have, who passing through similar sort of experiences. After their interview, some sort of scientist told me, oh, they found those people who's passing through very, very difficult sort of life, or experience, dangerous life, but their mind quite sort of calm, quite peaceful. No sign of traumas. So this is clearly sort of shows peace of mind on the basis of sense of concern of others' well-being. That really brings inner strength, self-confidence. So mind remains calm. As a result, their physical also, you see, physical health also very good. So these are, I think, evidence. Inner mind, inner world, peaceful. The body, much sort of healthier. Then family, also much happier. And the community. Through that way, humanity as a whole, believer or non-believer, you see, once you see develop some kind of sense of concern of well-being of other, more compassionate, more sort of right kind, positive attitude to others, and you really get immense benefit. So through that way, without touching religion, without touching faith, simply use our common sense, common experience, then scientific findings, like that. So that I usually call secular ethics, through secular education, like that, secular training, like that, secular method. Say, some of my friends, now even some institution, really now, some universities in America and also in India, really now showing interest, and secular education should include some moral ethics based on secular principles. I must make clear, I want to make clear, some people, some of my friends, see the word secular, their sort of understanding about secular is some little negative towards religions. According to Indian understanding about secular, it's not at all there. India's constitution itself, secular basis. That not at all, you see, negative towards religion. Like Mahatma Gandhi or Dr. Rajendra Prasad and Dr. Ambedkar, all those sort of great sort of people who actually, I think, they're making this Indian constitution. They themselves very, very religious-minded people. So, according to Indian understanding about secularism, not at all the disrespect or negative towards religion, but rather respect all religions. No preference in this religion or that religion. And also, as I mentioned it before, also respect a non-believer. So that, I think, truly fit 7 billion human beings. If some kind of moral ethics based on religious faith, then nearly 1 billion human beings then should exclude. That, I think, a lot of troublemaker from that comes quite sufficient. I think they can really create a lot of problems. So we must include these non-believer. Oh, we are same human brothers, sisters. The interest of the peaceful world, compassionate world is entire interest of the entire 7 billion human beings. No differences, believer or non-believer. So we must approach that way. Clear? So educating warm-heartedness to some people based on religious faith, to some people through secular way, in any way, we must emphasize importance of warm-heartedness through education. President Pope, one time he mentioned faith and reason must go together. So it is very true. Reason, not necessarily you say how God come or what is nature of God. That's something very, very high, very high. But you see, why faith is useful, right? Why we need faith? Then these reasons. You have faith when you're passing through tremendous difficulties and you really feel helpless yourself, then faith keeps your hope, your inner strength. So therefore, and then, as I mentioned earlier, you see the scientific according to scientific research also now, as I mentioned already, more compassionate heart is here, the body also more healthier, like that. These things, reason, you need faith, like that. So that's all. Now questions. Actually, you see, any questions? No restriction. You have